I had talked, I believe it was last week, about the problem of evil, that I had not heard a really good refutation to that. Problem of evil, just really quick summary, God is supposedly, and according to most people, he knows everything, can do anything, and he loves everybody. Therefore, why is there bad things happening in the world? If somebody's being hurt, he obviously knows about it, he could do something about it, and he apparently loves them, so why doesn't he do something? There have been a lot of arguments out there. We went over a couple last week, which didn't really go very far. We got an email, though. He didn't have his name on it, but it was R. Scott. Very lengthy email. And he talks about a book that he read called Hard Questions, Real Answers by William Lane Craig. And he had, what was it? I believe 8 points in this email. And we'll go over them really quickly, just to see what they are. First one, William Lane Craig says, according to the biblical scheme of things, God is directing human history toward his provisioned ends. Now, can you possibly imagine the complexity of planning and directing a world free of creatures toward some end without violating freedom? In other words, God has a plan of where this world's going to be and where everybody will be in 2,000 years hence or something like that. Therefore, that is such a complicated problem that bad things you're going to have to allow bad things to happen. Problem? They're forgetting the omni part. He is omnipotent, omniscient. He can do anything. He's really smart. If he can, he should be able to think of a way that, there can be a world that gets to an end where they don't have child rape. There should be a way to do that. And if somebody is willing to concede that he doesn't know everything, then fine. Problem of evil isn't the problem anymore. There may be other issues, and apparently with child rape in the world, there's some big issues. But apparently, yeah, that's not good. He should be able to come up with a way to work around that. Another point that I had, we just don't know how the sufferings we might endure might be used of God in our lives, or, if not in ours, the lives of those around us. Yes, they often look pointless, but we are simply not in a position to judge. The brutal murder of an innocent man or a child dying of leukemia could send a ripple effect through history so that God's morally sufficient reason for permitting it might not emerge until centuries or perhaps another country. Okay.
Same problem.
Pretty much the same problem. Yes, he should be able to think of a way. But another problem that's brought up here is what he's saying is there is some justifiable, rational, and moral reason to allow child rape. Mm-hmm. There is some outcome that we could look at that would say, okay, child rape is okay if it comes out, if through the effects it comes out this way. Now, until you're going to provide such a situation, I'm not buying it. I can't think of any possible explanation in this universe where child rape is okay, assuming such and such happens. And until you present that evidence, I think I am in a position to judge. I am not going to just willingly give up all my reasoning and say, okay, fine, he must know better than I am. If you just shut down all your rational thinking, that's not going to get you very far. Kind of dangerous. Another one, the chief purpose of life is not happiness, but the knowledge of God. Innocent human suffering provides an occasion for greater dependency and trust in God on the part of either the sufferer or those around him. This is really scary. Mm-hmm. Isn't that the most manipulative thing out there? I can hire somebody to go beat my dog with a stick so that they'll love me that much more because I don't beat them. God is saying that, yes, I can allow suffering in the world. I'll allow bad things to happen because you're going to love me that much more when it's over. That's along the lines of blackmail and extortion. That's manipulation. This is not a God who deserves to be worshipped, if that's the case. Another one. God has given mankind up to the sin it has freely chosen. He does not interfere or stop it, but lets human depravity run its course. Again, free will. He knew it was all going to happen. He put into motion the events that are currently in this world. He could foresee what was going to happen. He knew that Hitler was going to come along and such things. Yet he still deemed this plan, this world, to be okay. No, again, he should have come up with something better. If he doesn't agree with it, we did not freely choose this situation. He put us in the position and knew what the outcome was going to be and didn't do anything about it to change it. Not anything we can do much about. And also that ignores natural evil. Earthquakes, tidal waves, typhoons, anything like that. No one freely chooses a hurricane to, kill somebody or something like that. We had that big earthquake, I think it was in, was it Iran or India or something like that, not too long ago. And there I think it was a family of nearly 60 people. I think it was a family of 60, and I think like one person survived. Again, that was not free will.
Things like epidemics and things would be presumably easy for an omnipotent God.
Exactly.
To take care of.
Exactly. The great flus and AIDS and such. He should be able to stop that. Let's see. When God asked his children to bear horrible sufferings in this life, it is only with the prospect of heavenly joy and recompense that is beyond all comprehension. For this slight momentary affliction is preparing us for an eternal weight in the glory, blah, blah, blah. Essentially, heaven is just really, really cool. And so anything that you go through it,
Isn't that what they told the 9/11 attackers? That you're going to have just this wonderful afterlife.
Exactly.
And
exactly. They had letters that were that they had on board that had 88 references to God on them. And yeah, they were just saying that if you do this, if you become a martyr for Allah, then you will be closer to God and you will get your 72 virgins and all this kind of stuff.
And this is much the same argument.
Exactly, exactly. Heaven is just so cool that any amount of suffering in this world is just plain fine. The problem with that is, one, it's a defeatist attitude. I don't like the idea that, oh well, this sucks, but it'll get better. Because you can say the same thing with just about anything. If you don't agree, if you were a Jew living in Germany during World War II, this life sucks, but it'll end someday. That's not really helping the situation. I mean, Americans, every country in the world could have said, yeah, what Germany does, that kind of sucks, but it'll end one day. It doesn't really give you a chance to fight. Also, just looking from our point of view, we know this world exists. I know right now that people are out there suffering and have pain and things are going bad. I know that for a fact. I'm not positive that there's a heaven just yet. Pretty sure there's not, but still, that's not a given. Not many people know. Nobody knows for a fact whether they do or not. So let's try and fix things in this world. This world we know we have. Let's make this one better. Let's not hope that the next one is, because it may not come. And then, oddly enough, point 6 was exactly the same. Tolstoy put it, God sees the truth but waits. In the end, divine rewards will do more than enough to make up for what we suffered here. Same thing, same problem, doesn't count. Number 7, it struck me that in order to obtain eternal life in heaven, it would be worth it if God asked us to undergo an earthly life of the most extreme suffering and self-denial. Again, same thing, just because heaven's good doesn't mean that you should have suffering in this world. God is not a distant creator or impersonal being, but a loving Father who shares our sufferings and hurts.
Right.
So what? That's not helping the situation any. If the creator of the universe is hurting along with you, that doesn't solve any problems. I would rather see him say, okay, this is a bad thing, let's stop it, than to just say, I'm down there suffering with you. That doesn't help the situation any. It also says, this is an interesting one here. Jesus endured a suffering beyond all comprehension. He bore the punishment for the sins of the whole world. He was nailed to a cross. He suffered his entire life. But let's go back just a moment here. God asked the children to bear horrible suffering, blah, blah, blah. For this slight momentary affliction that is known as life, Jesus suffered. And Jesus got then to go up to heaven, be the right-hand man to God, and co-vice ruler of the universe.
So why should we care about his suffering if there's no...
Exactly. He suffered a slight momentary affliction that got all the human race off the hook. Not all that much, apparently. He didn't sacrifice anything. He's still the vice ruler of the universe. He didn't give up anything. He suffered on earth, and then he died for 3 days, and then went up to heaven, and again, now he's with God. I don't really see what the huge sacrifice there was. If I could go up to heaven and be the ruler of the universe, and all it took was being nailed to a cross for a couple days, sure, go for it. But again, doubt it's going to happen.